My name is Andre, and today I'm going to review the following book I've chosen from column A, Another Day in the Death of America, a chronicle of 10 short lives, a book by Gary Young, which features 10 chapters reporting 10 gun deaths that occurred on Saturday, the 23rd of November 2013. Gary Young is an experienced journalist who has reported on America for The Guardian for over a decade now, and has written powerfully about his experiences of racism as a black British man living and working in the USA. This book targets to bring his perspective on account of America's gun culture and control, and how the deaths and injuries disproportionately affect America's black population. Young, father of 2 young children and long-term resident in Chicago, admits that he has a personal stake in the issue, stating, "Black skin in a game where the odds are stacked against it." During my presentation, I'm going to show gun violence related stats, the summary of the book and what it consists on, and finally, I'll be giving my opinion on the book itself. Moving to the statistics, I would like to expose how bad the current situation in the US is in terms of deaths and injuries of children related to gun violence. As we can see, every day, 87 children, teens, and young adults are injured or killed by guns in the United States. Young African Americans are far more likely to be victims of gun homicide than young people of other races. The United States accounts for 91% of children killed by guns in high-income countries. It is indeed the sad reality that takes place every day on such a developed country like the USA. Moving to the book summary, the book tells the stories of 10 victims that are told through their friends, families, and through media and police reports, detailing the known circumstances of their deaths. 8 of the 10 victims were African American, while all of them were under 20. Figures chosen to reflect the diversity of the average number of children killed by guns each day in America by other Americans. The November date was selected at random. 2 of the victims were killed accidentally by their friends. 3 appeared to be implicated in gang violence and victims of retaliation shootings. 2 victims appear to have been killed by stray bullets as they walked the streets. However, what unites them all is that their lives ended in an environment where access to guns is easy, and that they were citizens in a society that is unwilling or unable to do anything about it. The author powerfully describes the world of disadvantage, street gangs warring over the drug trade, and the everyday existence of young lives in the mostly poor towns and cities in which the killings took place. Some of the children's parents are doing their best with the odds stacked firmly against them, while others, neglectful and largely absent, their lives destroyed by addiction and poverty. But Young does not offer judgment on the children's backgrounds, making clear that the tragedy of gun violence can randomly strike any person at any time in these environments. In this sense, all of the victims mentioned are innocent. Young emphasizes that this book is the first significant attention these victims have received beyond their friends and family. The question that Young poses several times is whether America would tolerate these deaths if they occurred in the areas and communities where the wealthy professional classes live. The social response to the Sandy Hook shooting, where 20 school children and 6 adults were killed in their classrooms in a Connecticut school, is badly compared with the relative invisibility of these deaths. But the fact that there were no legislative change to restrict gun access following the events at Sandy Hook, Young reflects, makes the daily deaths that take in America's poor communities even less likely to draw a basic response. Young had a difficult time reaching some families who refused to give out information about their deceased children. This constraint means that some of the profiles are inconsistent, and 2 of the victim cases studies states that these are filled with Young's analysis of social, political, and cultural factors that have led to America's current impasse. Young discusses how the history of slavery and the social, economic, and political discrimination against African Americans in the 20th and early 21st century are the main factors behind the higher probability of black men being unemployed, in prison, or dead by the age of 25, compared to the white population. He provides a short history of the National Rifle Association, the NRA, America's powerful pro-gun lobby, and the Second Amendment, which grants the rights for citizens to bear arms. Young makes the argument that the sociological context, rather than the individual responsibility, is the primary factor behind black rejection in the US society, supporting it with judicious use of academic studies and statistics. Therefore, the sense of perspective of the owners of the 270 million guns in America or the NRA, whose views and commitment to protecting the Second Amendment are an important component of the victims' deaths. Young blames the NRA, but his voice is yet to be heard, and his criticism stands unrecognized. Despite these limitations, the book is a timely and important contribution to the debate on how the US society treats its African American citizens. Since the 23rd November of 2013, racial tensions have regularly erupted in the aftermath of allegations of police brutality or civilian fatalities, usually captured by citizens on their phones and that circulate on social media. However, despite these developments, Young closes the book on a negative note, writing that an effective counteraction against the NRA and a change in the law remain highly unlikely, meaning an end to the daily tragedy that stalks American life is far from ending. Young's reflective memorial to the victims reveals that the chilling truth that these children deaths at the hands of the guns are so common in America that they are banal, and that each day the tragedy will continue to roll on relentlessly. Concluding my presentation, this was one of the best eye-opener books I've read. When it comes to first world problems, Gary Young has the knowledge to make the reader sensitive just by reading and imagining the pain these families went through and how unacceptable the situation is in the US. It's a fact that books like this one will definitely change the way we see the world. It's a great book and I strongly recommend its reading.